my K-drama recommendation for DP, that would be the military K-drama that's currently out with Jung Hae In. He's one of my favorite Korean actors, as well as Sun Suk-gu. So Sun Suk-gu, it doesn't have as much of a big presence in this K-drama, but I still really enjoy his Korean dramas. So I'm going to be doing some kind of my thoughts on DP, as well as give a little bit of going down memory lane for a few Korean men that I know in the US, or actually they came to the US and then they had to go back to Korea to do their military service. And then, so that would be my second topic. And my third topic would be the best kiss I've ever had, the worst kiss I've ever had, and then the backstory of a very cute, I think, sweet kind of kiss that I gave to someone. So yeah, my thoughts on DP. I think I got more interested in the K-drama DP just because I watched Obsessed with Song Seung-hoon, and eventually I will get off that topic. But currently, right now, I'm still kind of digesting that Korean drama. So I watched Obsessed, and I was just kind of more intrigued with more military style K-dramas. And the one that's out right now is DP. So they're in the second season, and Jung Hae In is the main character. He's literally the main character. So he's pretty... he's got a very quiet personality in this Korean drama, more like the solid, quiet guy, but who could still fight really well. And he has a really good energy about him in this Korean drama. So I am really enjoying watching Jung Hae In. He tries to do his very best in this drama, along with his co-star. Even they're going up against some pretty terrible characters, like they're having to bring back deserters to the Korean army. And because it is a Korean army, they're still technically in wartime. And so the military exercises they do every once in a while, North Korea will get really upset, especially when the US also partakes in the exercises. Certainly, then the dictator of North Korea will then go a little angry. That's the nicest way I can put it. So yeah, so they're still technically in war, and Jung Hae In's character is to go and retrieve the deserters. And so every story, you're seeing them trying to capture them, make them, go and get them. But they're also up against a couple of other guys that are also trying to retrieve these men. But while Jung Hae In's character is going to retrieve them and hopefully save them from themselves, try to help them as much as possible, the other team that's trying to recapture the guys, they just want to stick them in jail. There is no recovery. There's nothing that's gonna be helpful for their lives. And from what I understand, DP, the Korean drama, actually shed light in some of the terrible things that are happening in the Korean military in real life, in reality, not just in the Korean drama world, but actually in real life. So they are trying to, the Korean government actually put in measures and steps to make corrections for the brutality and I guess injustice that's going on in the Korean army. So yeah, I think you don't really hear that much of Korean dramas having that much of an impact on real life, that the government is attempting to make corrections. Certainly this one, DP, then another recent K-drama where younger teenage kids they could do all kinds of terrible things, and then they could get their slate wiped clean of any wrong offenses once they reach adulthood. So it's almost like all the stuff that they did as a kid or a teenager, it's almost like you get a free pass for the rest of your life, because what you did in your younger life, you're not really going to be held to it later on. When some of these people are nearly adults, they're almost adults. So I'm actually I'm glad that they took that to light. The other one that I feel like had more of an impact in Korean real life society is The Glory. Certainly, there's been a lot of different news articles that have come out in regards to bullying, whether it's teen or children bullying each other. Now they're trying to put in, or they may have already done it, but they're trying to create a safer place for kids. Like, the bullying is so extreme, and even in the United States, like the internet bullying, that they are trying to make corrections, bring in some measures in place so that there's more of a community, more society that will help people that are being bullied. So back to DP. It's definitely a fight K-drama. That's why I wasn't really interested in watching it the first time around. But now I am very interested in it, just because I watched the Sung-hoon movie, and that was a military-based K-drama or Korean movie. And so now DP, there's mostly fighting. It's a lot of fighting. It's about the Korean military, so there's no romance that I can see. It's all about more getting justice to the Korean military personnel, trying to hold the Korean government accountable for the well-being and safety, mentally and physically, of their patriots. So hopefully it will continue to do better. I definitely think that there's always room for improvement to any kind of military, whether it's Korean, US, anything. Like my own father, he was born and raised in the US, and he served for the US Army during the Korean War. I would say that most of his military experience was fine. I don't want to go into too many details, but towards the end it wasn't good. And he had actually suffered from the US Army in his tour while going through the US Army. But yeah, so that's I do recommend DP. I think Jung Hae In, he just has a very good presence in this Korean drama. I feel that he provides a very strong, not silent character, but he's mostly a quiet person in this K-drama, but he fights very well, which is kind of interesting because he has such a very young look to him, very innocent, very kind of sweet. Like, if I were to describe his attractiveness, he's very attractive, but more on the cute side than handsome. Like, his stature, everything about him is more on the cute, boyish side. So for him to play such a tough military guy, I find that it's very interesting. And I kind of wonder how long it's taken him to do all the training to get himself that fit to be in this Korean drama as kind of like military police, really. So yeah, I recommend. It's on Netflix. And Sun Sok-gu is also in this K-drama. And he was so good in the K-drama from about a year and a half ago, or maybe a year ago. So good. He is just the guy when you want like a strong character. He's kind of more on the quirky side. He's not your they're all very attractive people, but he's not your typical Korean actor leading guy. He has more of a different look. Like, I would say Sun Sok-gu, Gong-yu, they have a little bit more of a kind of, not alien look, but they don't have your typical leading man Korean look. But that's cool, because I think different looks is good rather than having the same thing over and over again. So yeah, and then now to talk about my friends who were going to college in the United States, but they either served in the Korean military prior, or during their time in college, they actually had to go back to Korea to serve almost 2 years in the Korean army. So one guy, super cool guy, we're all three of these people I'm still friends with online. We don't really chat that much anymore, but whatever, life goes on. So the first guy, he actually dated a friend of mine, and really good, solid guy, super fun, really just charming. And he was so fun. Like, he just has a very charming, cute personality. So whenever he would come out, everybody would have a good time. He's just so funny. I have very good memories of hanging out with this guy. He's just adorable. Like, as a man, he's adorable. And he reached his lifelong dream of becoming a pilot. Like, he had worked for a lot of really good companies because he was yuhakseng. So he is Korean born, raised, and then came over for college. So he speaks English very well. So does his parents, because they were in the airline industry. So but he himself, just such a good personality, always so fun to hang out with, to bring along to any outing. He's the fun guy, super fun. Anyways, he was hilarious. I wish we could all hang out again, like back when we did when we were in our 20s, going out and having fun. So it was his younger brother that I hung out with a little bit more. He is not as much fun. Actually, he's kind of a more tortured soul. He's still a little bit tortured soul. But he and I actually wrote letters back and forth, and he kind of described a little bit more of the military lifestyle back more realistically, because I think like some people have a more romantic view of the military, but he just laid it out very, very clear. So he was saying, because he spoke English very well, and I actually went to the DMZ zone and over to the Joint Security Area at the 38th parallel, where it's the North and South Korea where they meet. So he was stationed there. One, he spoke English very well, and two, he is of bigger build. So the guy's like 6'1", 6'2". No, he's 6 foot or 6'1". I don't remember exactly. And he's kind of more on the built side. He's not, whatever. So he's on the bigger stature side. So he got to go to the Joint Security Area, the DMZ zone, because he was a liaison for the South Korea military and the United States military, because he spoke English. And South Korea picks the biggest guys to go to the DMZ, as well as the North Koreans will pick their biggest guys, because they're almost like doing a bit of a face-off while they're there. North Korea, they're not going to pick their tiny guys to go and do like marching around the DMZ zone, because they don't want to show that they're smaller. Same with the South Koreans, they're going to pick their bigger guys to go there. And so anyways, my friend, we didn't write that many letters, and this was so long ago, this was many, many years ago. But he did write me one letter that I remember, and I kept the letters for a long time, even though I moved so much. I just was like bringing them here and there. And I remember that he had said that they were doing some military exercises out in the field, and one of his friends accidentally stepped on a landmine and died. So it's not, even though they're currently in peaceful times, it's still dangerous. It's still very dangerous to be in the Korean military. It's not a friendly place. It's not some place where you go to like have fun. It's not a vacation. So I feel like that friend was already kind of more on the not dark side, but he just wasn't as happy and just cheerful as his older brother. This guy just always seemed like everything was just such a chore for him. But yeah, I mean, he's a very attractive person. Very, very, yeah, he wasn't especially fun to hang out with, but we would go and hang out. I remember seeing The Network with Sandra Bullock with him, and I had recently gotten off of back-to-back trips to Japan. So I had gone out to Japan, did my work, then came back, then did another trip to Japan, came back, then I flew home, and he's like, let's go see a movie. So I went to go see a movie with him. And this is the only time that this has ever happened, because I will sit through every movie from the beginning to the bitter end. I rarely ever walk out of a movie. But The Network with Sandra Bullock, whatever year that came out, because we saw it in the theater, it was still like newly out. I fell asleep on my friend's shoulder, and he's just like, you see that in Korean dramas, but I never experienced it except for that one time, and only because I had gone on back-to-back trips to Asia, and so I just kind of passed out on him, and he was like kind of gently shaking me awake, and I'm like, oh my God, I have never before and since thereafter ever fell asleep in a movie. Never. Just that one time. And what else is interesting, I don't remember if it was that time around or if it was another time where I was doing back-to-back or long-haul trips to Asia, but I remember sleep being more than 17 hours straight through, not waking up once, not to drink water, not to go to the bathroom, fell asleep, didn't wake up until 17 plus hours later, which is actually kind of weird. You're super disorienting. But during that time of my life, it was already disorienting anyways because I was traveling so much. So you'd wake up and I wouldn't know which direction is which. I would have to have a few alarms set on military time because I wouldn't know if it's morning or noon or afternoon or light. Yeah, that was good times. It was very much a unique experience. I'm so happy and so glad that I was able to do that type of work when I could. Can't do it now. I just don't think I could physically do that. But yeah, when I have, so that friend, just to go back to the friend who's a little bit of a somber person, he sings so well. He has the most beautiful voice. And of course, he never wanted to sing. We would go to Nordabang, we would go to karaoke as a group of friends, and everybody would all say, oh my God, he has the best voice. But he, aside from very rare times, would not want to sing. He's such a brat. But yeah, I remember he would sing, him and his brother, they must have gone to Nordabang a lot in Korea. But I remember his brother was super entertaining. He would sing every song. He would sing the girl parts. He would do the whole dance as well. Like, that guy, super entertaining. His younger brother, not so much, but whatever. The other person that I know that was in the military is somebody that I met actually at Velvet Room. Super, very attractive person to me. So he comes up to me at the dance floor and he just started dancing, and usually I'm like, go away, I'm with my friends. But and I did that first, but then I did a double take and I'm like, oh, this guy is actually pretty attractive. So then I actually went to go back to dance with him. And he did not speak English very much because this was when he first came to Los Angeles after being in the military, living his entire life in Korea. So his English was not good at the time. But we got by on just very basic casual conversation. And, you know, my Korean is okay enough to understand. And he just is puts in a lot of effort in terms of if he really wants to. So he was making a lot of effort for his side of the conversation. And what I remember is like he just, I think we got to know each other quite a bit afterwards. We hung out a number of times just because he was super fun and I enjoyed hanging out with him. But I guess while he chose the most difficult military branch for the Korean Army, he picked Marines. And he didn't have to pick Marines. Like, from what I can tell with his family has money, they are influential, and he could have just went and did some kind of desk job in Seoul. And that's usually back then, if your family had enough money or if they had enough influence, you could somehow maneuver it that you get stationed with just the regular Army or Air Force or some branch where your life is not miserable as it is with the Marines. But he chose the Marines for something. I think that in itself speaks volumes for his personality. He's very different. And so yeah, he is so funny. So I remember we were like, you know, it's a club, so you kind of hang out, you talk, and then you just wander around, and then you meet back up. I just remember walking over somewhere, and some girl had grabbed him and started making out with him. But what was so interesting, this guy is such a brat. He was actually kissing this girl, but he was just staring around at the club. He was just looking around at the club while kissing this woman who kind of just, I guess she liked his style, because she just grabbed him and started making out with him near the bar. And then with him, I don't think he was interested because he wasn't into it. He wasn't actually he was kissing her, but he was just kind of like looking around at the club and looking at different people. That would be a big no for me. I don't think no, that just wouldn't be good. Oh my God. But we hung out quite a bit, and he once showed me pictures of when he was in the military, and he went from a kind of like more just slight build to somebody who obviously works out a lot. So he just got really ripped while being in the Marines. And I think he just kept it up because I think he just enjoyed having muscles. Like, who wouldn't? Like, that just means like you're very fit. I think being fit is better than being fat. That's my own personal opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are happy being whatever shape and size. So that's just, for me, I would rather be fit. But yeah, and he was a lot of fun, very English is the second language. I just remember you know what else I really not admire, but I appreciate about him is we would go to dinner and he would appreciate all the food. There was never a moment in time where he was just like, I'm not going to eat that. It didn't taste very good. Everything. He was just so appreciative and grateful for whatever was given to him in terms of food. I was like, you have the best personality, like not picky at all. He just had I don't want to say low standards for food because we always ate somewhere like pretty decent, but like everything was like delicious for him. Everything was just amazing. And I was like anywhere. We could go anywhere. We could go to Korean, we could go to US, we could go to an upscale place, we could go somewhere that's super hole in the wall. Everything was good. So yeah, that would be my interactions with individuals who have been in the Korean Army. And it just reminded me of that because for some reason I'm just watching a lot of Korean Army type of dramas and movies. And I think like anytime you're having to enlist, where you're mandated to be in a contract with them for that many years, it can be pretty tough. Like it's not an easy thing. Although one of the friends that long time ago coworker, I'm not sure if we were friends, but long time coworker, he was a naval officer. His family was in, they were all military family. And he was telling me he actually would be sunbathing on the naval battleships. Like he would just be sunbathing out there, just having fun. But that guy had just that type of personality where he could have fun anywhere. He would go to the Philippines, he would go somewhere in Asia, he would have fun dancing with the working girls, he would be having fun with whomever. But yeah, anyways, and I think he was a stand-up guy, definitely a gentleman. He was an officer and a gentleman, pun intended. But yeah, so that's kind of my first two takes. That's the Korean drama. I do recommend DP with Jung Hae In and Son Sok-gu. And then those are my stories about some of my friends who are in the military for the Korean Army. And then the last is the best and worst and cutest kiss that have to my mind happened in my life. So the best kiss award goes to a guy with the initials RL. So he also was a friend's younger brother, and he actually played basketball for, I think, UNLV, or he played basketball for a party school. The guy is a party guy, so I'm sure he had plenty of practice kissing a lot of women. But yeah, he would be the best kiss, hands down. Like, just very good pressure, very good technique, just solid. I would give him 5 stars across the board, whatever highest ranking for Michelin restaurant award, A+, 2 thumbs up. Like, the guy just was solid. He knew what he was doing. And yeah, and it was just a very like warm, really good kiss, like just solid. That would be the best. And you know, the funniest thing is that my friend who dated RL's older brother, she said that he was the worst kisser that she's ever met in her life. She said like kissing him was kind of like kissing a hurricane in her mouth. Like his tongue was just like doing all kinds of acrobatic sports in her mouth. And she said that it was so uncomfortable. It was so like disorienting. She didn't like it. I don't know if she ever said anything to him. I mean, this was like many decades ago, but yeah, I just was like, oh my gosh, that's so weird, because his younger brother is like the best. But I'm sure that they didn't learn on the same person. So, you know, genetics wise, one did not get passed down the same kissing gene. And so, yeah, that would be the best kiss in memory. I mean, you know, the one other time I got kissed. So the worst kiss goes to this one guy who, all other things aside, like he was pretty fun to go on dates with. We'd always do something fun, like we go to Newport Beach, we went to the Huntington Hotel in Pasadena for jazz and dinners and drinks. Like we'd go dancing. Like he was a pretty entertaining guy, fun. But I would have to say he is probably one of the worst kisses I've ever had in my lifetime. It was like he had saved up all the saliva for however many months, years, and just would be like all over during the kiss. Like so sloppy. It was so like mushy. It was just so bad. It was so bad. Like, I just don't understand how someone could build up that much saliva and think that it would be a good idea to slobber all over someone for a kiss. That's just to like, and how do you, like, I'm sure somebody can tell him. It wasn't me. I'm not going to, critique somebody on their kiss, but it was terrible. It was so bad. It was like I would have to like do this after the kiss, and like if that wasn't signal enough that it was a bad kiss, I don't know what else to say. It was just terrible. It was literally terrible. Awful. Like, thank God, I guess he had good hygiene. Otherwise, you would be bathed in really bad saliva, but I'm still traumatized. This was more than 8 years ago. I still remember, and it was really, really bad. And the funny thing is, like, this guy was so full of himself. Nobody's ever going to know who it is because I have no pictures up of him. I don't know if we're friends. I think we're friends on one social platform, but who knows? Like, I might have just deleted it. Maybe he deleted me. Who knows? I haven't seen him on that platform for a long time. But he also thought he was the best dancer. My goodness, this man could not dance to save his life. Okay, maybe to save his life if they were being extra nice. If the people that were in the firing squad, if they were just being extra nice, they might give him a pass and let him live. But it wouldn't be for good dancing. So this guy, he was saying, oh yeah, I took dance in college. I'm a dance. He was offbeat almost every time we went dancing, like literally just offbeat. And he had the nerve to say that I was offbeat. I'm like, I now have a lot of different things going on with my body that I'm probably not on beat now. But back then I was on beat. I've been on beat for years. And so it was actually pretty funny that that guy just was, and he just thought how could everybody else be off beat and him be the only person on beat? And especially when you're at a place where you could see that everybody else is going with the music except for that guy. He just had the audacity. He was a very interesting person. To live and be in that kind of confidence must be nice, because like the self-talk that he has in his brain must be like he's just a solid citizen. And he definitely had problems with being able to be honest in a conversation as well. So anyways, that would be the worst kiss scenario. And then to give a backstory about this last kiss, and it actually just was a kiss on the cheek. It was actually pretty funny. So I lived in Hollywood as like I think I lived there for about 5 years. And this is early 2000 because my friend he actually was introduced to me by a friend who I just love as a person. This guy was so cool. I wish he was still around, but I think he dropped off the face of the earth. But guy is super cool. Really, really, really like him as a friend and just party friend. He was always so much fun. So he introduced me to this guy he met in Hong Kong who was modeling in Hong Kong. So my friend, let's call him DH. So DH he was a model in Korea, then moved to Hong Kong to model there. I think a lot of Koreans go to Hong Kong to model. I don't know why. I guess maybe there's a market for that. Then he came to live in the United States, Los Angeles, I guess to just live his best life. Like he wanted to move to the United States and start a business, live the American dream. So he had friends that owned a bar in Hollywood and they were former models themselves. So you could tell like the lady was very attractive. She would want me to call her Annie, and she was so nice. She was just very nice presence, like just very warm, very cool lady. And the guy owner, I think it was her boyfriend, or somehow they were together. I don't know in what capacity, but they were together. And he was kind of scary. Even my friend DH, he was like, yeah, we called him Scary Hyung. Like, he was just kind of scary. His voice was kind of scary. He had kind of a scary appearance. Anyways, we would go to that bar all the time because I lived a few blocks away, maybe a 1 or 2 minute drive from there, and all of my friends would go party there. So there was DH's friend was DJing there, then the model couple owned it, and a lot of my friends who were just partiers, like they would go out to Garden of Eden, they would go to my house, like it was back when there were a lot of Asian parties. So anyways, it was a particular party, and I think, if memory serves, I think this might have been 2004 or 5 or 6, somewhere around there. I don't even know. 7? 2000. Anyways, it was early 2000s, and friends were all there, and I had gone out, this was like my 3rd date with some guy that I was introduced to. So this guy supposedly really wanted to date me for whatever reason, and I was kind of trying to go out on dates with this guy. I don't think I really thought anything of him. Like, I didn't really find him that attractive. I don't even know if I liked his personality. It was just he was just there. He was just a very kind, nice person to me. He would drive up like an hour and a half to take me out on dates. So we had not ever kissed. Like, this was like my 3rd or 5th date. And I was like, I'm still trying to make it work because he seems like a nice guy, decent person. But I don't think I actually, now looking back so many years ago, I know I wasn't attracted to him. He was just somebody who I could probably be friends with for the rest of my life, and just have him, we could just go hang out and eat and go to coffee and hang out, but I would just never want any type of relationship with him. Just super not attracted to this guy. But I tried. I think I went out on 5 dates with this guy. I tried my hardest. It was never gonna work. So then we were out at this Hollywood bar, and all my friends were there. And this was a crew that was kind of Irvine crew. And then I saw this one person there who shall also remain nameless. But I've seen this guy many different times at this point, and been introduced to him a few times. I think every time, like, that guy never remembered who I was, which is totally fine. I'm not memorable. It's super fine. Whatever. Anyways, so I like leave the nondescript date at the table with all my friends, and I go to the bar because I was gonna go grab a drink at the bar, and I saw this guy, and he was talking to the bar owner, Annie, and she's very, I think, just, when you like, she was a model in Korea, so I think when you are modeling and you're in that lifestyle, maybe, you're definitely hopefully have a good self-esteem. So she tells this guy, and I think he was calling her Nuna, or she told him to call her Nuna, and she wanted to do a love shot with him. I'm like, oh my God, it's that guy, yet again. And so I was just kind of watching their interaction, and it just was very cute. It was fun and friendly. And then, like, I'm like, oh, he seems really nice, like, and also very attractive. So I go up to him. I don't know why. I'm obviously not shy, or I don't think I'm shy. Actually, I've never been shy. I think I'm just very quiet and introverted, but I'm not shy. So then I go up to him, because he's just kind of like leaning against a different table, a different bar. And I was like, I forget how we started how I started the conversation, because I approached him. And I was like, we were talking for just a very short amount of time. And I'm like, oh, well, can I have a kiss on the cheek? And I don't know what was running through his mind. I don't know if he gets that request a lot, but he's like, no. He's like, no. And I was like, oh, that sucks. And then, but he's like, oh, but you can kiss me on my cheek. So, like, the tables turn, because to actually go in for a kiss, I feel like that takes more effort than just being a passive person receiving the kiss. So like I think I even debated with this guy, like, no, you give me the kiss. And he's like, no. He's like, I think he was like, no, I never even asked for it in the first place. Like, you give me the kiss. So then I think we didn't even go back and forth very long. I think I just made up my mind. I'm like, I really want to have some type of interaction with this guy. So I gave him a very tiny kiss on his cheek. So that was really cute. Very sweet, very innocent, just very funny. I have had a lot of interactions with this guy, but I would say not going anywhere, because that's the way the cookie crumbles for my interactions with this dude. But yeah, so that was the best kiss of my lifetime that's memorable. Then goes the most awful, disgusting kiss. And then, of course, a very cute, fun, memorable kiss. So yeah, I think, oh, and the rest of the night, I don't know, I think I was like, okay, well, thanks. And then I just bounce away, like, because there's like not much else to talk about once you like kiss somebody, and then it's like, okay, well, I guess I'll go back to my friends. So I actually did go back to my guy friend, or the guy that I was on some date with. And yeah, it went nowhere with him. I'm like, if it takes 5 dates and I think I only held his hand once. And then I'm just asking some other person for a kiss at the same bar on the same night while we were all out together. We weren't together, we were just at the same place at the same time. Then you know that you are not interested in the guy that has been taking you out on dates. If you're asking some other guy to give you a kiss on the cheek, 100%. I think when I was a little bit younger, and maybe still even now, I don't think I'm very adept at dating, and I know for a fact that I say things, and probably some of my actions have been very upsetting towards people that I have dated in the past or potentially dated. And it's not out of being mean in my heart, it's more just a really bad filter system. So yeah, anyways, I do recommend DP. It's a very fun Korean drama, and I thank you all for tripping down memory lane with me, for the memories of my friends who were at one point been in the Korean military, and yeah, and just the kisses of my long ago past, like, definitely memorable. I wish everybody a happy and safe weekend, and let me know what you're also watching, or if you have any commentary on the feed. So thanks so much, and I will talk to you later. Bye.